Hi everybody, it's Claire. This is just going to be a little kind of impromptu tutorial. And apologies, I'm kind of doing this in the, it's almost dusk here in the UK, so there's a little shadow at the bottom from the camera, so apologies for that, but it's not going to affect what we're going to be doing because we're going to be looking at this wall. So this is my work in progress. You might have seen me posting this over the last couple of weeks if you're a member of the Johanna Basford WOF pages site. It's from Johanna Basford's beautiful new book, World of Flowers. I've been working on it, as you can see, for quite some time, probably about 3 weekends worth now. And today I was specifically concentrating on these beautiful stone walls. And having posted some of these, well, one of these work in progresses about the beautiful stones today, you guys have been quite interested in a tutorial. So this will take probably about 5 minutes. It'll be very quick. So I've used Prismacolor pencils, and my main thought was, this has, look at the size of this. This has the potential to be a huge strip of grey. How on earth do you break that up, make it interesting, and make it look realistic at the same time? So what I decided to do was, I've got basically all of my palettes of my Prismacolor grey pencils out. So I've got my warm greys, I've got my French greys, and I've got my cool greys. Now, if I was doing stones, I would probably use my warm greys. But what I thought I'd do is use a combination of all of them. And that way you've got a little bit more interesting variety in the stones. And stones aren't the same when you see them together. There's no two stones alike. And then what I also decided to do was, so you can see where I've kind of made the highlights, the lighter parts of each stone. So I also decided that, right, okay, we're using different greys, let's move the highlights around a little bit. So you can see, if I just get my pencil, for instance, on this one, it's got the highlight at the top. This one here has the highlight in the centre. Where's another good example? This one here has the highlight at the bottom. So again, that was just kind of to make it a little bit more interesting and break up the actual body of the greys. What I also did was pull out my Prismacolor Lime Pale pencil, and I've blended in on some of them, not all of them, but some of them, I've just blended in a little bit of this to kind of indicate moss and age. So very quickly, I'm going to just, you can see that's my practice page. You can see it's my practice page, look at this. So we're just going to be working on one little part of the wall. So I'm going to zoom you in, and I'm going to leave this in the background so you can see how it works. And again, apologies for the shadow, but it's not going to affect the bit that we're working on, I don't think, because we're going to be working up here. I'll just pull that down a little bit. That's great. And then you can see some of the stones in the background as well, I think. So let's just start off. I've got, for each of my grey pencils, I have the 70%, the 50%, the 30% and the 20%. So these are my warm greys. Now I'm going to start with the 70. And actually, just before I do, a little bit of a word on the differences between the greys, because sometimes it can be a bit confusing. If I was doing stones and rocks, I would probably use a combination of warms and cool greys. French greys tend to have a little bit more kind of brown warm tones, and I think that they're quite good for animals. So some of you may have seen my double page for Magical Jungle with the elephant in, with the beach background. I use French greys for that beautiful elephant because it's an animal and it's kind of more realistic. If you were using kind of really cool greys, it could look a bit odd maybe, but using kind of warm tonal brown greys for animals can be quite a good idea. So let me pick one. Can you see what I'm doing if I'm working here? I'm just going to angle the camera slightly so that my hand doesn't get in the way when I'm colouring. I need to move that over for you a little bit now. Okay, so let's have a look at this rock here. So I'm going to take my 70% warm grey, and as you've seen me blending before, I'm just going to scumble in a medium firm hand a ring of the darkest shade of this grey that I've got out. Okay, easy, dead easy. There we go, like that. Then very simply, I'm going to take my next lightest grey, which is my 50% warm grey. And again, I'm just going to, on the inside and slightly over the edge of the dark grey, again, little circles, because it makes the pencils blend really well, scumble over and do a little inside circle. And I told you this would be quick, didn't I? Because it's easy. Then we go to 30% warm grey, same thing. And then I'm going to do something slightly different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump from this 30% to my lime peel. So all I'm going to do is put a little strip, medium firm pressure, like that in the middle. And then I'm going to take my lightest grey, my 20% warm grey, and just blend over it, like that. But you can still see the lime peel underneath because this is a light shade of grey. So can you see? Makes it look quite realistic. And it's as easy as that. And then what I would do is, so let me just put these warm greys down to one side. Let's take the French greys. So again, I've got my 70, 50, 30 and 20% greys. So if I was doing this one next to it, and I'd probably, so I wouldn't kind of do two in the same palette of grey together. So just to mix it up, like I said, what I've done is also change the focus of the highlight. So for this one, I just scumble in my 70% French grey. And can you see the difference in the tonal values of the greys? The warm greys are kind of, well, they're warm. It's but the French greys have that little kind of, to me, have that little bit of brown in them. Okay, so now we're going to go to our 50% French grey, the blend line, and we're making the focus of this highlight this side just so that it's slightly different from being the central one of this one. Again, this is all just to break up that big strip of grey that makes up the full wall, because otherwise if we didn't, it would unbalance the whole piece. So 30%. And you can see I'm not using a blender pencil because these pencils are so blendable on their own. And you don't have to put a little bit of moss on each stone, but just to give you an example, the lime peel in this case would go in this corner as the highlight. And then go back to the lightest French grey, which is 20%. There is actually a 10%, but I'm not using it. And can you see, kind of, it just makes it look interesting. So we'll just do the very last one. Put the French greys to one side. We'll go to our cool greys. Again, I've got my 70, 50, 30 and 20. Which one should we do? Let's do this one at this side. So for this one, let's take it bottom to top, I think. So you're changing the palette and you're changing the highlight focus. And it works really well to break up that big strip of colour. And Katrina especially asked me for a tutorial on these this afternoon, so Katrina, this one's for you. Okay, so that was 70%, this is 50% cool grey. Dead easy, really easy. You just got to kind of think about things a little bit. 30%. And I'm not going to put a lime peel highlight on this. So I'm just going to quickly finish off. See, I told you it would be 5 minutes, didn't I? And that's it. That's it. So you can see the differences between them, and then when you build it all up across the full double page, I just move that out of the way and move you back up the that you can see when it's the full double page that it's really, really effective. Right then, as usual, if you've got any questions, drop me a line. I will put the colours on the tutorial description, and enjoy.